Right now, a wasp is walking a cockroach much bigger than she is, into its own grave, on a leash. And the roach, which could sprint or fly off this very second, is strolling along like it's on a pleasant little date. It is not on a date. It isn't paralyzed. It isn't trapped. It just stopped wanting to leave. Because a few minutes ago, this wasp did brain surgery on it, in a bush, freehand. This is the jewel wasp, and her technique is so precise that human neuroscientists study her venom, which is a humbling sentence if you happen to be a human neuroscientist. Here's her problem. The cockroach is bigger, faster, armored, and she is several times lighter than her own dinner. In a straight fight, she gets flattened, so she never has one. She skips the muscles entirely and goes straight for the software, a full behavioral reprogram in 2 stings. Sting 1 lands in the roach's chest and briefly knocks out its front legs. This is not the impressive sting. This is the "please hold still, sir" sting, buying her a few seconds to line up the real one. Sting 2 is the masterpiece. She bends her stinger down, threads it into the cockroach's head, and steers toward the brain. And she is not stabbing wildly and hoping. The tip of her stinger is studded with tiny sense organs, so she can literally feel her way to 2 specific clusters of nerves, the ones in charge of the roach's desire to walk. She can feel the difference between brain and not brain, which is genuinely more than you can say for some surgeons. Scientists checked her aim by tagging the venom and watching where it ended up. Same 2 spots, every time. This is targeted neurosurgery, performed by a bug, from the outside, with no degree and a suspiciously good success rate. And here's the genuinely unsettling part. The venom doesn't paralyze the roach at all. Poke it, and it can still walk, run, even fly. It is fully, physically able to leave. What the venom switches off is the wanting to. She doesn't disable the escape. She deletes the interest. So the roach just lets it go. It stands there, serene. In fact, the venom comes with a splash of dopamine that sets off a grooming fit. So the zombie spends the next half hour meticulously cleaning itself, fluffing the pillows in a house that is, metaphorically, already on fire. Then, the leash. She trims the roach's antennae down to neat little stubs, partly to check she got the dose right, and partly, honestly, for a sip of its blood, because why waste a beverage? Then she takes a stub in her jaws, gives a polite tug, and the cockroach follows her, calm, obedient, agreeable, into a burrow, like the worst behaved good dog in history. Heel. Inside, she glues a single egg to its leg, climbs back out, seals the door with rubble, and leaves. The zombie does not bang on the walls. The zombie sits quietly in the dark, waiting for an appointment it doesn't know it has. If this is quietly ruining your afternoon, a quick like helps more curious people ruin theirs too. Because it does get worse. The egg hatches, the larva chews a door into the still living roach and moves in. Then it eats, slowly, politely, saving the vital organs for last, so the meal stays fresh for the better part of a week. Either a nightmare or excellent meal prep, depending which of them you are. When it's done, it pupates inside the hollow shell, and weeks later, a brand new wasp strolls out of the cockroach like it's checking out of a hotel. So why all the theater? Why not just paralyze the thing? Because a paralyzed cockroach is furniture, too heavy to carry, and going nowhere. She doesn't need a couch. She needs an Uber, a zombie that drives itself home and, ideally, tips. And scientists are obsessed with the exact chemistry. Part of the trick is turning down a signal called octopamine, basically the roach's internal get up and go. Turn that signal back up, and studies find the roach partly perks up and remembers it had plans. The tell that this is chemistry, not brain damage. A little of the ghost climbs back into the machine. That's why one small wasp gets treated like a neuroscience textbook. She edits a single behavior, cleanly, which we still can't do without a mountain of paperwork. But here's the thought that sticks. The roach walks itself, calmly, to be eaten alive, not because it's chained, but because a few drops of venom erased one feeling, the urge to run. Which is a slightly uncomfortable reminder that wanting to is chemistry too. And chemistry, as we've just watched, takes edits. If you'd like more of nature's quietly horrifying magic tricks, subscribe. The next one is, somehow, even worse. So the next time a cockroach freezes instead of bolting, give it a second look. That stillness might not be fear. It might be a scheduling conflict it never agreed to. Stay curious.